This conference will now be recorded.
Simply awesome. So guys, very excited to present this particular lab to you because of a simple reason whatsoever we have discussed so far. We really would like to take a look on what exactly is fabric discovery, what exactly is fabric. There is a terminology, my pen, please come. All right. There is a terminology called fabric provisioning, right? Provisioning. So we are going to look at into in this particular lab that how the spine switches, right, and the leaf switches, they establish relationship, how they are discovered, how they are registered, and how the complete ACI fabric gets formed. In this particular lab, we are going to take the help of our 3 APIC controllers connected to our leaf switches. The lab is, having 2 spines, spine 1, spine 2, leaf 1, and leaf 2, right? So I believe this particular lab is going to give more clarity to you guys in terms of better understanding of fabric provisioning, building the ACI fabric. Certain caveats, I have mentioned the caveats over here because sometimes we happen to see some issues. This is the topology of our Cisco D Cloud, our dear friend. What we need to do is the moment you will start the lab, you will get this particular topology having so many beautiful servers participating into it. Guys, this particular lab is one of the most wonderful lab because this lab will teach us so many concepts in ACI, right? Over the journey we will be taking on this particular lab. So in order to, this is the topology, 2 spine, 2 leaf, and 3 controllers. The version of our APIC simulator is 4.2 3Q, right? And 3 controllers. Wow, wonderful. Now configuration. What we want to do, let me quickly switch on to the lab. The lab is name is getting started with Cisco ACI. I have booked this particular lab for some of my friends for quite long. This particular lab is I booked on starting from 24th and it will go on till 28th. One of the guy will be doing it, and this particular lab I have booked for you guys. So I am going to click view to this particular lab. On clicking view, right, your session has been scheduled. All right, so this lab is available with me for next 2 hours and 53 minutes. In order to go inside the lab, I will click workstation and remote desktop. Guys, while you are watching myself doing it, in case if you have any issues in between, feel absolutely free to interrupt, because this is for my convenience. This is going to make my explanation in future more simpler. All right, over here we have got our shortcuts to log in into APIC controller. So here we double click and we are going inside our APIC controller. The controller version is version 4.2 and the user ID is admin and the password is 12345. Enter. All right. Now, yesterday, you know what I did? I didn't pay respect to this particular canvas in front of us on top of the APIC controller window. But today, with the help of this particular canvas right in front of us, we are going to click begin first time setup. Yesterday, I showed you Currently, this is the controller, but none of the device, which means the fabric nodes, which means spine switches, which means leaf switches. None of the device is available. All right, you want to take a look again? Fine, fair enough. I will just click the begin first time setup, and I just don't want to go for it. All right, begin and let's go close. Now, what is our expectation? If you take a look, I explained you yesterday also. Currently, nodes with health, it is completely, this panel is completely empty. What is our expectation? We want to see the nodes. What do we mean by nodes? We are talking about our fabric nodes. What is fabric node? The leaf and the spine switches are known as fabric nodes. We want to say their name, pod ID, node type, and the health score. Besides this, our expectation is also to see 3 epic controllers over here. Currently, we are able to see only one epic controller with an IP of 10.0.0.1. Admin state is in service, operational state is available, health score is fully fit. So let us start discovering and registering our fabric nodes. So back onto system, quick start, and first time setup of the ACI fabric, the canvas which I closed will come back again. Here we go. So the very first step, asterisk, which means mandatory. You have to do it, otherwise you will just have a blank controller, right? Without having any fabric node in it. So what we are going to do is we will start our fabric membership, begin. So let us click begin over here. Now, guys, please have a clear picture in your mind. And let me draw the picture over here. Pen, highlighter. The current status is we are over here. We have got a leaf switch here. We have got another leaf switch over here. We have got a spine node here. We have got another spine node here. They are connected, right, in clause architecture. They are connected to this epic node as well, wherein one interface of the epic node is active and other interface is this is crap. One is active and the other node is in a passive state. From the active node, one leaf with the serial number of this is being detected. Guys, actually the serial number of hardware devices will begin from SA something. Someone, in case if want to speak, definitely you can unmute and speak. Okay, so by the virtue of the interface of the controller, which is in an active state, the very first leaf with the model could be seen and the node type is leaf. Let me clean it now. And let me grab the spotlight. So the serial number, the model, the node type is leaf. What it is waiting for? It is waiting for us to register this particular leaf node. And you know what? The moment this particular leaf node will be registered, what is going to happen? The two of the spine switches which are connected to this leaf switch, they will also get discovered. Kindly appreciate the panel in this particular canvas is discovered. And you know what? Let me go slightly down and see what is under a registered option. Under registered option, the panel is absolutely blank. No node we can see as registered. That is the reason our dashboard was blank. So let us start. Now, we want to register our leaf node. Now, what we need to specify? We need to specify an ID over here. We need to give an ID to our leaf node. And you know what? We want to respect one naming convention holistically throughout our journey, of ACI fabric. And what is that? We want to pay respect to the spine switches, leaf switches. We want to say the spine is say number 1 and leaves are number 2. So first spine switch which will be discovered, we will call it as 101. The second spine switch whichsoever will be discovered will be called as 102. The leaf switches, they will be called as 201 and 202. What are these numbers? These numbers are called node IDs. Dear friends, kindly be noted, once the node ID is specified, it cannot be modified for a registered node. Where we are, what we have over here our first APIC controller, which is connected to this leaf switch, and this leaf switch, this interface being active, this interface being passive state, has discovered this particular leaf node. This leaf is connected northbound to the spine nodes. So once this leaf will get registered, immediately the two of the spine nodes will be discovered. So let us start registering it. So as we have decided that leaf nodes will be provided the number starting from 2, so 201 for the first. We will specify a name, say leaf 201. We will specify the node type as leaf. We need not choose over here is remote leaf, is virtual leaf, is tier 2 leaf. No, we are not going to choose it, right? We will quickly submit it. Now we will wait for some time. We will look at into both the panels, discovered panel as well as registered panel. Look at the action, what is happening. Action is from discovered is moved to registering. Very soon you are going to see that this particular leaf is moved over under the registered panel and certain new devices will be discovered. So let us quickly click refresh, and we can click refresh over here to see some changes.
Yeah. Ashish, I have one quick question.
Please,
Yeah.
please
So,
ask.
so what would be the interface configuration on the leaf side, which is connected to Epic controllers?
Arun, my dear friend, no configuration on the leaf side. Just a physical cable is connected. Okay, back onto the diagram. Just that this particular leaf switch here is physically connected to the spine switches and to the APIC controller over here. No manual configuration being done in the leaf switch. Not even the management IP address. But they do have certain embedded protocols which are running. For example, the LLDP. For example, MPBGP, VXLAN, ISIS, COOP, OpFlex, all these protocols are embedded in these devices. But no configuration done from our side. I'm going to tell you on Monday the complete sequence after performing this particular lab. Okay?
Okay.
The protocols which are running, the protocols with the help of which the devices are discovered, the flow of that. All right. So guys, you can see very well that our first leaf switch with a specified node ID of 201 is registered, the status is active. And now under discovered panel, we can see two of the, you can see the spine, right? Which is a switch model 9508. The role is spine, IP is none, is being discovered, right? So you can see the model is 9508. We were discussing yesterday about the models. The leaf model is 9396PX, discovered and registered. Now, these two spine switches are waiting to be discovered. Sorry, waiting to be registered. So let us register our first spine node having a serial number of TAP 1103. Click register. And as we decided, spine node will be provided with a node ID to begin from 1 and O, and first one, this is 101. We will specify a name, spine 101. We'll call it to be our spine. And guys, remember, before clicking submit, look at into the node ID, because node ID once registered cannot be changed. If you want to change, this means you have to erase entire configuration and reinitialize your fabric, right? So click submit, and it is going to take some time. Now let's register our second spine as well with the number of 102 and name of spine 102. As far as name is concerned, indeed we can change the name but not the ID. So it is spine, and click submit. Okay, probably I need to charge my laptop. My cable is very much here, and I am gonna charge it. And all right, cable connected. So let me refresh this discovered panel so that we can see something new, right? We can now see something new. Let me refresh my registered panel, and you can see that 103 and 104, that is our spine switches, are moved under this registered panel, and their registration process is going on. During the time when their registration process is going on, our another leaf switch, right? This leaf switch, connected to leaf 1, spine 101 and spine 102 is discovered. Now this leaf switch is now waiting to be registered as well. You know what? Not only this, we have got our epic controllers, say epic 2, this is epic 1, and epic 3 connected to the leaf switches. They are also waiting to be discovered, right? So far currently we are in this one. They are done with the first time setup using the console port. That is done, but we are not able to see once this particular leaf, right, will be registered, only then we can find out these ones. Okay, so back on to, well, beautiful. Our first leaf and both the spine switches, they are registered now. The status is active. Third, our second leaf switch is waiting to be registered. So let's click register. Siddhant has arrived. And node ID we want to specify is 202, and leaf name is leaf 202. And what is this? This is leaf, and click submit. You know, guys, this is the only thing you need to do. So click refresh. It is now registering. If we click refresh here, it is moved from over here to here. Now in this particular topology, well, we have got 2 spine switches, 2 leaf switches. All the devices are discovered. 3 of them, they are registered. 1 is left, that is our leaf 102 is getting registered. Guys, understanding this sequence is really very important, because this was one of the question in the exam, right? The sequence of discovery and registration. It was given, the question was given in the form of a scenario. Guys, congratulations. All your, both of your leaf switches and both of your spine switches are discovered. Now, something, once they are discovered and registered, something else has happened as well. We are going to see once we complete our this initial fabric setup. These errors, they keep coming on, don't worry about it. Let's continue. Now let's continue. Says that we have got another essential component to be configured, which is BGP. So we will click BGP over here. It is expecting the now the route reflectors to be configured. Guys, I will tell you in detail the purpose of route reflectors, but it is a holistic practice to configure our spine switches. In case if we have more than 2 spine switches, suppose if we have 4 spine switches, it is a holistic practice and mandatory as a first initial setup to configure at least 2 of the spine switches as BGP route reflectors. I repeat, it is a mandatory for configuring at least 2 of the spine switches if you have 2 or more than 2 spine switches, right? Say if you have more spine switches, it is recommended to, we have another spine switch here and we have here. At least 2 of the spine switches to be configured as a route reflector. Why is it so? I will give a theory reason for this as well as a practical lab on this. And that lab is a beautiful lab, right? Route reflector. Now, how to configure it? You just need to specify an autonomous system number. 65000 is a private autonomous system number, is not going to be provided by INA to any of the organization. We have no issue of using it. And we are selecting our spine 101 and spine 102 with an ID of 101, 102 as what? As our route reflectors. And you know what? We will continue over here. These two mandatory actions are taken. Then we have got our next option, out of band management IP configuration for our leaf and our spine switches. You know, once Fabric membership got successfully completed, behind the scene something happened. I would like to show you what happened. So let me click review and configure over here. We can see that these nodes, these are called Fabric nodes. They are waiting to be provided with the out of band management IP address. Guys, zero touch deployment. And if I just scroll myself down, you know what happened behind the curtain? Let's appreciate. Configured nodes. Did we configure them? We were and we are still in our Epic node Epic 1. During our first time setup, we configured an IP address. Hope you remember, I explained you that yesterday. The IP address to them, to all these individual Epic controllers. Why it moved? Okay, back again. I need my highlighter once again. Okay, these IP addresses to the controllers we specified, and the gateway addresses also we specified. These are the IPv6 addresses. Fine, they are not configured, all 00s, and IPv6 gateways. So during our first time setup, a local setup, we did set all these Epic controllers. They are configured. This configured means now they have successfully formed a cluster, which is called as Epic cluster. Right now we want these devices. Well, I don't know why controller is getting appeared over here. This is a bug. I can definitely accept it because this is a virtualized environment. Now these 4 Fabric nodes, now it is our responsibility to configure the out of band management addresses to them. Right now, let us start. We already know what is the range. Erase all drawings and normal. Guys, for your convenience, I have got the lab workbook ready, which I'll share with you for the purpose of practice. This lab workbook is having all the screenshots with proper details. This is definitely going to help you, and in this particular workbook we are in the this and this state. What we need to do is we need to provide IP addresses to our leaf and spine switches. For this we will specify a starting address and a gateway. We will click configure outer band IPs for selected nodes. We know that the controller IP addresses are ending with 200, 201, and 202. So this is the last IP address. Now, then 198.18.133.203, the very first address with a mask of 18. This is what our first IP address will be there, and you can take a look that nodes leaf 1, leaf 201, 202, they got the IP addresses automatically assigned to them. If we fill the gateway address information 198.18.130, what it is 128.1, because our Epic nodes, they are also using this IPv4 gateway, also got auto filled over here for all the devices. Normally what we do is we assign the out of band management addresses locally to our switches. Here, no, even out of band IP addresses, management IP addresses with the gateway, we are assigning from the controller. If you wish to, if you have your out of band IPv6 addresses and IPv6 gateway, you can also assign from here. Your choice. I hope this is clear, guys. And we will swiftly go to save and continue. All right. So out of band management is configured. Now let us quickly configure DNS. No asterisk, guys, over here. Asterisk, that is a mandatory configuration, is only for Fabric membership and BGP. It is our wish to configure management addresses or not. Then let us configure DNS also. DNS server, the IP address is 198.18.133.1 and it is preferred, and click update. And search domain, we have a domain by the name of dcloud.cisco.com or whatever is the domain, right? Click default, click update. DNS server IP and the domain name configured, and let us click save and continue. Then on NTP, let us configure NTP also. NTP server IP address 198.18.128.1. Click it is preferred, update, save and continue. It is done. It is also saved. If we scroll down, we do not have, do we have any other option? Global configuration, review and configure. We can take a look. So subnet check, domain validation, nothing to be configured over here. It is just specifying. Okay. So we will click save and continue. Proceed to summary. It will show us the configurations we have done. We under Fabric membership configured two leaf, two spines. Under BGP we configured ASN 65,000, two route reflectors. Under outer band we configured two leaf, two spines, and under DNS one server, one domain, NTP, one server configured. With all these configurations, guys, our first time setup of Fabric nodes is done. Our ACI Fabric is ready. Now we are good to take a look of our ACI Fabric. If we go back on System tab of controller and on dashboard, the very first and quick check we should holistically do is with regards to nodes. Earlier, none of the node was available over here. Now what? Now we have got our 2 leaf switches and 2 spine switches. Earlier, under controller status, we had only one controller, the first one with an IP of 10.0.0.1, in service, operational state available, health state fully fit, and EPIC 2 10.0.0.2, EPIC 3 10.0.0.3 in service available and fully fit. On seeing this, I'm expecting one question to come from you guys and would like to answer that question, else the question will be from my side. Either you have to ask me the question or I will ask you the question, so the expectation will get changed. Okay, let me give you hint of a question which you should ask me. Okay, hint is you should ask me a question with regards to the IP address which we are seeing over here. Guys, very important for us to understand this particular dashboard, and not only this dashboard, all the tabs. So please ask me a question about the IP addresses if you see over here. Come on, don't maintain the silence.
I believe earlier the network we use is 192.168, which is auto discovered OOB, but somehow the EPIC IPs got changed to 10 series.
Very good, Sai. Thank you so much. This is I was expecting. You know, your observation is highly regarded, guys. Now, when we were specifying, right, when we were doing our fabric initial setup, the IP addresses which we saw over there, right, what were the IP addresses? 198.18.133.200, 201 and 202 for 200 for APIC 1, 201 for APIC 2 and 202 for this, isn't it? Now, when we are seeing over here, the IP addresses, what we are seeing over here, they are 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2 and 10.0.0.3. Anybody, can you tell me why is it so? Why we are not able to see 198.18? And if we are not able to see, fine, we can say, but what are these addresses?
Ashish, these are the tap addresses.
Very good, Umar. These addresses, fabric IP, good. These addresses assigned to, which we can see in our EPIC controller, they are nothing but they are from the tap pool by default, which we have an option to specify during our first time start up of our controller, and the tap pool address begins from 10.0.0.0/8. What happens that when we initialize our fabric, you know guys, yesterday I told you that these APIC controllers, besides they are the controllers, the management controllers, they also act as DHCP servers, right? DHCP server, and what is this? This is nothing but this tap pool is our DHCP pool. So what happens is when all the devices are registered, these servers, first of all, they assign the IP addresses, that is TAP addresses, to themselves from the range of 10.0.0.0/8. So .1 gets assigned over here, .2 and .3 gets assigned over here. Then the TAP addresses need to be assigned to the registered nodes. So this leaf will be provided with .4, right? And this spine, which was discovered and registered later on, will be provided with .5, and this will be .6, and this leaf was, yes, if it is, the diagram is mesmerized, then let me delete it. Guys, please ask me if you have any question in between. Someone wanted to ask something? No worries, guys. You are welcome to ask. This is 201. This is 2. I'm sorry. This is, I said 101. My bad. 101, 102, 201, 202. We have got our controller nodes over here. Right? Okay. So these addresses are from there only, from the TAP pool. And the addresses should also be given to our leaf. Now I have to scratch myself where it was. If you take a look on the controllers now, quick start. Okay, topology. This is the topology. Controllers are connected to the leaf nodes. Epic controller 1, it is, we are using only one single interface, right? Here you can take a look on the details. So guys, please take a look. Memory, user, CPU, kernel, CPU, temperature. So these details, temperature details is not available. I told you yesterday that Epic controller doesn't take care of the temperature of the devices. What Epic controller takes care of, what information Epic controller fetches is about the memory, CPU, etc., but not the temperature. The controller information. Let's take a look on the controller information and controller, 3 controllers, right? We have got Epic 1. If you want to look at into, guys, one thing, the left hand side, let me give you the, for a better understanding, this particular portion, right, where you get all the options, this is called navigation. This is called navigation pane, and this particular portion is known as work pane, right? Okay. So you have the controller. If you want to fetch the details of the controller, you can expand it and you can fetch the details. You know what? From day one, I would appreciate you guys to perform this particular lab. Get yourself comfortable with. I have no crunch in terms of assigning this lab to you. Have already assigned so many labs, but yes, there will be a crunch. There is a limitation always. So you can take a detailed look on it. Now, I'm now curious to know about the fabric nodes. So this is system and controller tab provided us information related to controller. 3 controllers. They are complete, right? Complete biography. You can take a look over here. If you go back to quick start, all right, dashboard, system settings. I'm just looking for fabric. Okay. Fabric wide settings, you can take a look on various information over here. All right, I would like to take you to the fabric. That is our ACI fabric. I would like you to take a look on fabric membership. Under fabric membership, would appreciate you to take a look on the addresses. Now, this from the same pool, right? Addresses, that is tab address. Guys, I was wrong, right? Because that was, I said to 10.0.0.456, etc. But the DHCP server took its own decision, right, and assigned the dynamic IP addresses to the devices. The very first leaf switch, this particular leaf switch was the one we registered, is provided with an IP address of 10.0.224.64. After this particular leaf switch, when it was registered, then we registered our spine 101. So look at the IP address provided, the dynamic IP address provided to the spine node. Right over here, we can see. After this, then our spine 102 we registered, and consequently this node got this particular IP address .66. Then we finally registered our leaf 201 and look at the address ending with .61 provided to this particular leaf switch. This means indeed DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol, inside our EPIC controller worked and provided these addresses dynamically. What are these addresses known as? These addresses are known as tab addresses. Hope this is clear. Hope now I'm able to justify that this particular fabric is zero touch installed fabric. You just have to request your local hands and eye support to connect the cables, mount the switches, connect the cables, power on the devices, get access to your controller using the management interface IP address, and that's it. Rest, now you will have the complete control of all the leaf and spine switches, and you can manage it remotely using this controller window. All right. Another thing which I would like to tell you. These are the registered nodes. In case if some of the nodes are not yet registered, then those nodes will be displayed over here. For example, in case of multi-pod scenario, this is just a single pod we are talking about. In case of multi-pod scenario, the second pod before registration needs to undergo certain configuration. We have to do it, and once those configurations are also done, then the devices in the remote pod, the spine switches, the leaf switches, right, they will send the request to get them registered also. In case if they are registered, in case if they are discovered, they themselves will send a request to register them, and their registration request could be seen over here. And the way we registered these local pod devices, in the same way we can register them also. But over here, I will strongly recommend you to prepare an Excel sheet. Why I'm saying is because I have faced this particular issue. I registered some of the fabric nodes without deciding that this node with this serial ID will be provided with what node ID. I registered, later on I realized, oof, I wanted this node, this serial number to be mapped to this particular node ID, and that was not there. So what I did, I had to reinitialize my fabric. So in a production environment, if you are doing this kind of R&D again and again, it is not considered to be a good sign. So please do prepare an Excel sheet in order to make sure that the node mounted at this particular location having this serial number will be my node 101, second node 102, 103, and all so on. All right. So this is about fabric membership. Any question, guys?
Yeah, I have one question. So what do you mean by this multipod? Is it separate ACI infrastructure?
Very good question. And I will give you a quick answer to this question. Let me have, this is your multipod setup. And okay, this is your multipod setup. In this particular multipod setup, what you have one pod here and one pod over here. These two pods, they are not in the same data center. They can be in the same data center, but say in a different racks. But normally, say you have a multi-storied building, a very big organization, in its headquarters is having multiple floors. Approximately 4,000 users are sitting. They need to be provided with a connectivity. They are sitting across 10 floors, right? We have got our data center on the second floor, and then we have got our another data center in our 8th floor. Strategically, we have decided in terms of where two different data centers will be there. Now, all the users, they will be connected to the leaf switches, and definitely we want that these two pods, right, one on the first floor and one on the 8th floor, they need to be connected to each other, and we want that they should be, all those devices should be centrally managed from only one single controller. You want, in other words, the controllers which are spread across two or more than two, say 2 floors, or even geographically spread across in 2 different buildings, we want them to be part of one single family. This kind of setup, where you want apparently all the epic nodes to form one single family, called a large stretched epic cluster. This is called your multi-pod environment. We need to do certain exclusive configurations on, say, this device, on this device, on the spine switches over here and over here. I will tell you, definitely we have a detailed explanation of this, but almost at the end. This is called your multi-pod environment. Multi-pod environment was introduced by Cisco in the controller version 2.x. So it's pretty old setup, right, Arun?
Okay, fine.
Very, very important, guys. I'm sure soon you will get opportunity to work in ACI, and when it is ACI, then Multipod definitely is going to be there. Let me tell you the inside story. Lot of implementations of ACI projects going on in Europe specifically. Cisco is doing, that's the reason Cisco is searching for ACI expert engineers. And then once the implementation is done, then it is operations. All right, any other question? Would appreciate you guys to take a look on this particular lab. If you have, say, simulator, you can use simulator on day one, only on day one, right? I will not at all recommend you guys to use the simulator installed in EVNG later on, because simulator has its own limitation. Caller 02 has arrived. Welcome, Mr. Caller 02. Could you please, oh, is it Pradeep? Pradeep, is it you? All right, no worries. Okay, guys, any other question? I really don't want to go to the next part of my explanation. I just want your question. And in case if no question, then I would like to say thank you very much. Thanks God it is Friday. Would appreciate you guys to enjoy your Friday.
Ashish, actually, I'm not able to see any ACI videos on the portal. I can only see VXLAN folder on my account.
This is Arun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Arun, I will make sure you will be able to see ACI videos, and I will upload. Definitely, I have to upload a lot of other new videos, including this one.
Okay. Thanks.